Imagine waking up to discover that the world's most iconic rap mogul might be your dad, and he spent decades pretending you don't exist. Now picture the ripple effect that secret would unleash on a billion-dollar empire already cracking under the weight of another hidden child, endless court orders, and a queen named Beyonce who's tired of mopping up the mess. Tonight, we peel back the velvet curtain on the Carter Kingdom. A young woman from Maryland, Leticia, just detonated a bombshell. Jay-Z is my father, and I have the DNA to prove it. Her Instagram confession torched the timeline, hometown whispers erupted into worldwide headlines, and suddenly the Carters' carefully scripted narrative is in freefall. But this isn't just another scandalous rumor. We've got alleged hush money, a 99% DNA match, and eyewitnesses claiming they watched Jay and Leticia's mother flirt over late-night card games long before Beyoncé ever entered the picture. And hovering in the background? Rhymir, the first secret child, still battling for a court-ordered paternity test Jay-Z keeps dodging after 15 years. So buckle up. We're diving into the receipts, the NDAs, and the courtroom chess moves that could shatter hip-hop's royal couple for good. Because if even half of these accusations stick, the Carter Empire's greatest hit might not be a platinum record, it could be a public DNA test that changes everything. Ready for the truth? Let's get into it. So who exactly is the woman brave enough to take on hip-hop royalty? Meet Leticia, 28 years old, born and raised in the small coastal town of Cambridge, Maryland. On the surface, she's just another hard-working single mom clocking double shifts to keep 4 kids fed. But behind that exhausted smile lies a secret she's carried since kindergarten. Every family reunion, every birthday, every whispered argument between aunts ended with the same punchline, "Girl, you know your daddy is Jay-Z." For years, Leticia dismissed it as gossip, until the day her mother, battling multiple sclerosis and fading fast, grabbed her hand and said, "It's time you knew the truth. No more rumors. No more reading between the lines." The story poured out, a whirlwind summer, a backstage laugh, a young Sean Carter promising to call but never looking back. Leticia tried to bury it and move on, but the doubt echoed louder than her mother's ventilator. In the silence of late-night nursing shifts, she'd scroll past Jay-Z's billionaire headlines and wonder if that same smile lived in her own baby boy's face. Finally, she scraped together the cash for an ancestry DNA kit, a tiny tube that would redefine her entire existence. Weeks later, an email pinged, "Strong paternal match, 99%. Jay-Z wasn't just a rumor anymore, he was data, decimals, undeniable. It was the push she needed. On a humid Tuesday night, kids finally asleep, Leticia opened Instagram, typed "I've been quiet for far too long, time to tell my story." She hit post, exhaled, and braced for impact. Within hours, her phone looked like a slot machine, news outlets, bloggers, even distant cousins sliding into her DMs to say, "We always knew." Her sleepy Maryland town morphed into ground zero for the hottest tea in pop culture, and Leticia, once invisible, was now the eye of the storm. But stepping into the spotlight is only the first chess move. Because in the Carter Kingdom, every revelation triggers a counterplay, and Leticia just put the king in check. Picture a single-wide trailer tucked behind a cracked asphalt lot, the kind of place the mailman forgets and streetlights never reach. That's where Leticia's hard knock life anthem began, no platinum beats, just the hum of an oxygen machine keeping her mother alive. Multiple sclerosis turned mom from spirited dance floor queen to bedridden fighter, and 12-year-old Leticia became head of household overnight. She balanced textbooks on one hip and a toddler on the other, grinding through school by day and flipping burgers by night. Fast forward to adulthood, 4 kids of her own, twins in diapers, tuition bills piling up, and a second job guarding cell blocks at the county prison. Imagine clocking out at 3 a.m., eyes burning, only to remember the science fair volcano still needs paper mache. That was Tuesday, every Tuesday. Yet in every paycheck, she heard the same silent question, "Why am I hustling this hard while my billionaire father headlines Super Bowl halftime shows?" The doubt finally demanded proof. She spit into that tiny plastic tube, sealed it, and prayed the result wouldn't shatter what little piece she had left. Weeks later, ding! Email subject line, "Paternal match detected, 99%. Her heartbeat drowned out the kids' cartoons blaring in the next room. The report didn't stutter, didn't hedge its bets. A direct line traced from her DNA straight to Sean Corey Carter, better known to the world as Jay-Z. For Leticia, the number wasn't just science, it was vindication. It validated every sideways glance at a magazine cover, every late-night argument with the mirror. And it sparked a righteous fury. How could a man worth $1 billion leave a daughter worth everything to fend for herself? Armed with that 99%, Leticia didn't just gain a father, she gained leverage. Because in the court of public opinion, numbers speak louder than celebrity silence. And as we're about to see, that single data point will force the Carter camp to either clap back or finally cough up a DNA swab. It started with a single, trembling thumb hovering over post. At 10:37 p.m. Eastern Time, Leticia uploaded a sepia-toned selfie, eyes red but unflinching, captioned, "I've been quiet for far too long. Tonight I share the truth of living in the shadows, knowing Jay-Z is my father while the world screams family goals. Cambridge, you always knew, now everyone else will too." Within minutes, her phone lit up like Times Square. 10 likes became 10,000, Shade Room blogs copy-pasted the caption before she could refresh. Screenshots rocketed across X, formerly Twitter, TikTok sleuths dissected her facial features, and hashtag Jay-Z secret daughter trended worldwide before sunrise. But the real fireworks erupted in the comments. Folks from Maryland's Eastern Shore chimed in, "Girl, we've known." An ex-neighbor dropped a memory about Jay playing spades on Greenwood Avenue while Leticia's mom laughed in the kitchen. A former classmate wrote, "I remember you crying at recess 'cause kids teased you about being Hova's girl." Each testimony was another brick in a wall Jay-Z could no longer ignore. Legacy media pounced next. TMZ fired off push alerts, the New York Post slapped her story under a rap royalty scandal banner, morning talk shows cued the B-roll. In less than 24 hours, a single mom from a forgotten zip code hijacked pop culture's front page, and, by extension, the Carter brand. For Jay-Z, silence was no longer sophisticated, it was suspicious. For Beyonce, the hive buzzed with one burning question: how many crises can even Queen be contained before she drops the mic and walks away? No scandal is complete without eyewitnesses, and Cambridge, Maryland, is suddenly overflowing with them. The first to break rank? Gloria, a former neighbor who claimed she played matchmaker back in the summer of '96. She swears she watched a young Sean Carter swagger into a Greenwood Avenue apartment, spot Leticia's mother, Lisa, and flash that million-watt grin. Cards, cognac, slow jams on the boombox, Gloria paints the night like a scene straight out of a '90s R&B video. But she's not just talking vibes, she's spilling receipts. "My hand to God," she posted, "I was on Bradley Avenue when Lisa called Rockefeller trying to reach Jay." The assistant laughed and said, "Do you know how many women say Jay-Z they baby daddy?" That comment alone sent timelines into meltdown, because it implies Rockefeller knew these claims were out there, and brushed them off as routine noise. Then a former classmate drops a bomb in Leticia's DMs, a grainy prom photo where Lisa, visibly pregnant, stands next to Gloria and scribbles Sean, with a nervous smile. Suddenly the rumors feel tangible, like fingerprints on a glass. Local barbers, grocery store cashiers, even a retired high school janitor jump in. We'd see Jay roll through town back when nobody outside Brooklyn knew his name. The cumulative effect? A chorus of small-town voices harmonizing the same refrain, "We always knew." For Jay-Z's camp, that chorus is a PR nightmare, because a single claim can be denied, but a hometown choir is harder to silence. As the testimonies stack up like subpoenas, the pressure shifts from gossip column to potential courtroom exhibit, and the world waits to see how the Carter team will counter this growing wall of first-hand accounts. Cue the rewind sound effect, because before Leticia's name ever hit a headline, another alleged heir was already dragging the Carters into court, Rhymir Satterthwaite, better known online as Rhy. His story begins back in 2010, when a teenage Rhy filed his first paternity suit claiming Jay-Z was his father. 15 years, 3 dismissed cases, and 1 Supreme Court petition later, he's still waiting for a single cheek swab. Here's how it keeps playing out. Judge orders DNA test, Jay-Z's lawyers appeal. Court dismisses on a technicality, Rhy refiles in another jurisdiction. New judge reinstates the test, Jay-Z countersues, alleging harassment. Repeat. Groundhog Day, but with filing fees. Rhy's guardian, Dr. Lily, says the legal maze isn't just red tape, it's deliberate sabotage. She claims her own attorneys secretly teamed up with Jay-Z's powerhouse firm to botch filings, miss deadlines, and make the case vanish in procedural smoke. When she confronted them, the partnership dissolved overnight, but the damage was done. And then there's the intimidation. Rhy alleges sudden surveillance cars outside his house, ominous phone calls urging him to drop it, and even thinly veiled references to Beyoncé's influence behind the scenes. It's the kind of cloak and dagger stuff you expect in a Netflix thriller, not a paternity suit. Yet Rhymir refuses to fold. He fires back in the only language rappers respect, music, dropping a diss track that taunts Jay-Z for hiding behind billions but scared of a cotton swab. The hook? Truth ain't a price tag, HOV, just spit in the bag. Streams skyrocket, blogs eat it up, and suddenly the courts aren't the only arena judging this DNA drama. The takeaway? Leticia's claim isn't an isolated incident, it's the sequel to a saga already in mid-season. And with Rhys still clawing for that test after a decade plus, the public's patience is wearing thinner than a vinyl groove. If Jay-Z thought he could outrun one alleged child, how will he outrun two, especially when both stories are converging in the court of public opinion? If silence is golden, Beyoncé's has been worth more than the Carter fortune, but even gold melts under enough heat. Insiders whisper that Queen Bee has been quietly fuming since Rhys' lawsuit first hijacked headlines in 2015. She tightened the family's PR firewall, dropped Lemonade to reclaim the narrative, and moved on. But Leticia's arrival? That's different. It isn't just another tabloid blip, it's proof the past is multiplying and threatening to stain the gilded Carter brand she spent 2 decades curating. Behind closed doors, sources claim the vibe at Casa Carter has gone from crazy in love to crisis management drill. Wardrobe rehearsals reportedly end in tense conference calls with attorneys, and Beyoncé's inner circle is said to be weighing worst-case scenarios. What happens if a second DNA suit lands while Jay-Z is still ducking the first? The math is brutal. 2 alleged outside kids equate a narrative Beyoncé can't spin as a one-time mistake, especially with the Beehive already buzzing about her tolerance limits. And here's the real kicker. Brand analysts estimate the Carters' combined ventures, Ivy Park, Roc Nation, and a rumored joint streaming deal, stand to lose tens of millions if public trust erodes further. Translation? Beyoncé might be forced to choose between the business empire she co-built and a marriage wobbling on legal quicksand. Rumor mills have already coined a nickname, the Quiet Quits, for the day she finally stops cleaning up Jay-Z's alleged secrets and lets the hive storm break loose. For now, Beyoncé remains publicly unbothered, flashing Grammy smiles and posting cryptic Instagram captions about energy shifts. But offstage, the question looms, how many DNA grenades can even the Queen defuse before she drops the mic, and the marriage, forever? Cue the gavel, because this saga plays out as much in law libraries as it does on social media. According to Dr. Lily, Rhymir's longtime guardian and self-appointed legal pit bull, Jay-Z's defense strategy isn't just deny, deny, deny. It's a full-blown chess match where every motion, every delayed response, is designed to bleed the other side dry and stall until public interest fades. Here's how Lily says the game is rigged. First, you bury the plaintiffs in paperwork, hundreds of pages delivered 5 minutes before a hearing. Then you flex that billionaire Rolodex, hiring seasoned litigators with partners in every jurisdiction, making it nearly impossible for a local attorney to fight without bumping into a conflict of interest. And when that doesn't work, you allegedly charm the opposing counsel. Lily claims her own lawyers suddenly switched tone, missing deadlines, filing the wrong forms, even forgetting to serve critical evidence. She only connected the dots when an invoice revealed a mysterious consulting fee tied to Roc Nation's outside counsel. But the courtroom theatrics don't stop at filings. Rhys swears anonymous callers warned him to leave HOV alone or watch his budding music career implode. Lily says she's spotted the same black SUV idling outside her clinic 3 nights in a row, no plates, tinted windows, engine never off. Coincidence? Maybe. But it sure feels like the kind of soft intimidation celebs deploy when they'd rather settle scores in the shadows than under oath. Meanwhile, Jay-Z's attorneys paint a very different picture, branding Rhys and Lily as serial litigants chasing clout. They argue the case has been tossed multiple times, so why should HOV keep answering the same paternity ghost story? Yet judges keep circling back to one stubborn fact: no DNA swab, no closure. And every time Jay-Z files another postponement, the court of public opinion chalks it up as one more sign he's hiding something only a cotton swab can reveal. For Leticia, these intimidation claims are a crystal ball. She's watched the legal labyrinth swallow Rhys' case for 15 years. If she steps into that same maze, does she risk the same dead-end delays and shadowy pressure? Or does her fresh, 99% DNA ammo finally force the king to play by the rules? One thing is clear, in this chess game, the next move could decide whether truth checks the Carter Empire, or gets sacrificed to yet another strategic stalemate. Hip-hop's favorite battlefield isn't the courtroom, it's the booth. And Jay-Z, the master of subliminal shots, chose wax over witness stands to address the paternity chatter. On Heard About Us, he spits, Billie Jean in his prime for the thousandth time. The kid ain't mine. Online they call me dad kiddingly. Translation? Stop calling me father, this is all cap. The bar feels casual, but to Rhymir, and now Leticia, it hits like a legal slap in the 808s. Social media detectives cue the slow-motion playback. Billie Jean is obviously a Michael Jackson paternity reference, the kid ain't mine is self-explanatory, and kiddingly doubles as a playful shrug, or a taunt. Rhymir doesn't do subliminal. He uploads a raw, no-budget track titled Cotton Swab Confessions, spitting. Still hiding from a swab at 55/billionaire, but you can't buy the truth with a wire transfer. The hook lands like a subpoena set to a drill beat. Streams spike, reaction channels break down every lyric, and suddenly Rhym's Spotify monthly listeners jump into six figures, proof that even pending DNA cases can chart. Leticia, new to the mic, posts a 15-second TikTok lip-syncing Jay-Z's own Kid Ain't Mine line, then flips the camera to her ancestry report. 10 million views in 48 hours, and she hasn't even recorded her debut single yet. If Jay-Z thought music would control the narrative, Gen Z just turned it into open-source shade. Meanwhile, Beyoncé's fanbase is split. Half the hive swarms Rhym's comments calling him a clout leech, the other half side-eye Jay's lyric, tweeting, "If you've got time for bars, you've got time for a swab." Rolling Stone publishes a think piece, Paternity Claims in Rap, when the beat drops harder than the lawsuit. Complex ranks Rhym's diss at number 7 on their best responses to Jay-Z list, right below Nas's Ether. Bottom line? The fight for paternity recognition is no longer confined to dusty court dockets. It's blasting through car stereos, looping on TikTok, and topping YouTube reaction charts. Every bar Jay-Z drops without taking that DNA test fuels the perception that he's rhyming around the truth, while his alleged children use the very culture he built to demand the last word. Just when you think this story can't dip any lower, a chilling timeline surfaces, one that could turn a messy paternity dispute into felony territory. According to Dr. Lily's sworn affidavits, Wanda, Rhymir's mother, was only 16 years old when she met a mid-20-something Sean Carter after a 1992 nightclub performance in Philadelphia. An underage girl, a rising rapper, and no parental consent? That's not a scandal, that's a potential crime scene. Here's where it gets legally radioactive. Back in 2012, Lily says Jay-Z's in-house counsel reached out to resolve matters privately. They floated the idea of signing young Rhymir to Rockefeller once he finished high school, an offer that sounded like mentorship but smelled like hush money. Lily declined, insisting any deal begin with a DNA test. Communication went ice cold, and within months, a new team of high-powered attorneys swooped in, filing motions that painted Rhymir as a stalker rather than a son. Why the abrupt shift? Lily believes Jay's camp realized that if Wanda truly was underage, acknowledging paternity could open him up to statutory rape accusations, civil damages, and a PR meltdown dwarfing anything we've seen so far. Suddenly, a simple cheek swab wasn't just about family, it was about potential felony exposure and the billion-dollar brands tethered to Jay-Z's name. Legal experts warn that even if the criminal statute of limitations has run out, civil suits can still fly, and so can retroactive moral backlash. Remember how decades-old allegations derailed careers in the #MeToo era? One accurate DNA test tying Jay-Z to an underage pregnancy could trigger the same domino effect: lost sponsorships, canceled tours, and a permanent footnote in hip-hop history. For Leticia, this underage angle is a flashing red warning light. If Jay-Z stonewalls one paternity case to avoid potential criminal fallout, what lengths might he go to in order to bury a second? And for Beyoncé, who built entire anthems on female empowerment, standing beside a man accused of impregnating a minor could be the brand breach no Grammy performance can repair. In short, Section 9 isn't just about who fathered whom, it's about whether America's most famous rap icon can outrun legal landmines planted 3 decades ago. One wrong step, and the Carter empire could face an explosion no NDA or diss track can muffle. Money talks, and sometimes it hushes. Word on the street is that Jay-Z may have quietly wired $1.7 million to purchase a suburban Maryland mansion for Leticia, complete with a high-gloss NDA thicker than a Roc Nation contract. The alleged deal? Sign here, keep quiet, enjoy the square footage. But Leticia's Instagram post suggests the plan backfired spectacularly. Either the payment never hit her account, the NDA felt like a gag order she could no longer stomach, or both. Whatever the trigger, the silent arrangement morphed into an international headline, turning hush money into megaphone cash. Now imagine Beyoncé, tallying the collateral damage, Rhym's 15-year lawsuit draining legal fees, Leticia's viral DNA reveal, brand partners dialing crisis PR hotlines, and a potential felony time bomb ticking under Section 9's underage allegations. Insiders claim she's issued a stark ultimatum: handle this, or I walk. In business terms, that could mean severing their billion-dollar joint ventures. In marriage terms, a split that would eclipse even their most platinum collaborations. Meanwhile, Jay-Z's team is rumored to be scrambling for a preemptive strike, offering private mediation, digging for procedural loopholes, anything to avoid a public DNA day in court. Yet every delay deepens public suspicion, while every headline magnifies Beyoncé's dilemma: remain the silent pillar of a crumbling empire, or reclaim her narrative, solo. As Section 10 closes, the stakes are unmistakable. One test could clear Jay-Z's name or confirm 2 secret children and spark a legal avalanche. One choice could preserve the Carter dynasty or detonate it live on TMZ. And one woman, armed with a 99% DNA match, has made it plain she will not fade back into the shadows. Cue suspenseful beat. Because the next move belongs to Jay-Z, and the whole world is watching to see if he finally swaps chess for checkmate by surrendering to a single cotton swab. So here we are, 2 alleged children, 1 billionaire rapper, and a queen whose patience is running out. Leticia's 99% DNA match. Rhymir's 15-year legal marathon. Whispers of hush money, underage timelines, and intimidation tactics swirling like paparazzi flashbulbs around the Carter gates. At this point, a single cotton swab could do what no diss track, NDA, or delaying motion has managed: settle the truth once and for all. Will Jay-Z finally face the music? Will Beyoncé protect the empire, or protect her peace? And if the DNA says what the rumors claim, can hip-hop's first family survive the fallout? Stick around, because the next headline could rewrite music history. Smash that like button if you're here for the truth, drop your predictions in the comments, and subscribe with notifications on, so you don't miss the moment the Carter DNA files finally go public. This story isn't closing, the closing arguments are just getting started.